Most students believe that wanting to skip practice is a sign of failure, but what if I told you that this specific urge to quit is actually the most valuable part of your yoga journey? After guiding hundreds of students through this exact same mental block, I've learned that the moment you decide to unroll your mat anyway is the exact moment when real transformation happens. And we've all been there. You look at your mat and then suddenly your to-do list feels overwhelming and you tell yourself, I'm too busy right now, I'm going to do it on Monday or whenever life gets less chaotic, but that time never comes, and you think that these are all logical reasons, but they actually aren't. They're just symptoms of a mind that's addicted to a familiar sense of chaos, and your brain resists that sense of calm that comes from the yoga practice because it requires energy to change that state. I'm Sushmita, but you can call me Sushi, and I help busy minds quiet their racing thoughts through the power of a structured practice of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. And if you need a community that holds you accountable, a teacher that actually guides you in the right path, when these waves of resistance hit, trust me, it's really useful to have a community and a teacher. Check out the link in the description below for my Yoga Mastery program. But don't worry about all that for now, because right now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's really happening in your brain whenever you go into a yoga class and a few weeks later you just say, okay, never mind, I think I'm going to quit and I'm just going to skip it. I probably do like something else at home, and that never ends up happening. So let's dive right in. The reasons to quit can seem incredibly real. A big one is I missed a few classes and now I can't go back to that same teacher. I've got to find someone else. Your mind has spent years, maybe even decades, in this state of low-level stress and distraction. And so obviously a part of your brain thinks that yoga is just a waste of time and that you have things to do and places to be. But I remember when I just moved to a different city and my life felt like it was just a tangled mess of like boxes in one corner and like visa issues to resolve. And I had no motivation to practice because I was just handling life. And I began to see it as a chore, as this thing that I had to do. The joy was completely gone. And I told myself that I'll get back when things calm down, when I was less stressed and when I had more time. But in fact, during that time, looking back, obviously hindsight is 2020, but there's this danger about quitting in that time. When you step away, when you go away and you say, I'm going to do something else, you don't just lose a little bit of flexibility. It's not like, you used to be able to touch your toes and now you can't. You actually lose that anchor, that thing that holds you in the eye of the storm. You reinforce a powerful narrative in your brain that when life gets hard, self-care is the first thing that can get sacrificed. And so you give up the very tool, the very thing that's designed to help you navigate the mess and not escape it. So yoga isn't a reward for you when everything is perfect and your life is calm. It's the practice that helps us steer through the mess. And so that feeling of wanting to quit is not a sign that your practice is failing or that you are failing. It's a sign that you're now just beginning on your yoga path. Think about it this way. When you're in a challenging pose, let's say you're trying to do crow pose, for example, the real yoga isn't about staying in crow pose and not being wobbly for 5 whole breaths. The real yoga is what you do when your muscles are aching, when you know your fingertips can't take it and your wrists are hurting and you plump on your face. What do? Do you try again? Do you hold the breath a little bit longer? Do you hold your face and grimace and say this is too hard? Or do you soften your jaw and deepen into your breath and just allow the posture to shape your present moment and just stay in the discomfort? That feeling of wanting to quit in that pose is kind of like a micro reflection of how you feel about the entire practice. So it's almost like a pose is a micro version of the macro problem you're having right now. And so the chaos of your life is that challenging pose. Your mind's urge to run away from the discomfort, it will always be there. Regardless of how perfect life seems, that discomfort is always going to be there. And so the question I want you to ask yourself today is, will I actually breathe through the discomfort, or will I just bail like I usually do? And you have a choice. Trust me, even if it feels like you don't have a choice, you have a choice. And in making that hard choice, you begin to walk the yogic path. You begin to actually take the first steps to being a yogi, not just doing yoga. And in these moments of friction, when your brain is literally screaming at you, you're trying to rewire all of those grooves, and you're teaching your nervous system that it can be in a state of challenge and not panic. It can be in a difficult situation. It can be like, having its legs behind its head and still it can find the space to breathe in increasingly difficult positions. And so without panicking, without sending your body into fight or flight, you can learn how to regulate yourself. And when you learn how to do this, you can be centered even if life around you feels chaotic. And the true test of your practice, this is where the deeper benefits also lie, is finding stillness when every single part of you wants to run, wants to like get up and roll up the mat and go check your phone. So the struggle that you constantly feel is the practice of yoga. Let's talk about that feeling of shame. It's that voice that says, I haven't been to yoga in a month, my teacher is going to be disappointed, everyone will notice how much progress I've lost, everyone's going to see how inflexible I've become, and then they're going to see this little, roll of tummy fat that I built, and I don't want to face that. I might as well just do yoga at home or like go on YouTube. And shame is one of the biggest barriers that prevents people from actually returning to their practice. But you need to hear this as a yoga teacher, and I'm sure all the other yoga teachers will agree with me on this. Your yoga teacher is not keeping score. A good teacher's primary role is to create a welcoming space for you to show up exactly as you are. So they don't see your absence as a failure. They see it as life just happens, right? They will be super happy to see you back on the mat and trying again. We don't care if you're perfect. We don't care if you can do all of the poses. We care if you're trying. We care if you're showing up for yourself. And this is why finding a teacher that resonates with you, that you actually trust, is so useful on your path. While the benefits of yoga actually come from your own consistent practice and your dedication to showing up, building a relationship with a single teacher is perhaps one of the most powerful support mechanisms that you can have in your life. And they remember, like, 1 month ago you were struggling with this versus now you're doing it with ease. And so on the days when you feel like you want to quit or life just gets too busy, they're the ones that can genuinely reflect back to you and say, look how much stronger you are in your chaturanga. Look how far you've come. Don't forget that 1 month ago this was impossible and today it's absolutely easy for you. I see these shifts every single day in the work that I do, and that's exactly why I continue doing the work that I do, because yoga teachers, our job, we exist because we're allowed to celebrate your victories and hold space for you when things get difficult and welcome you back whenever you're ready for it. Just know that this feeling of wanting to quit is universal, and it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It's actually a moment when your practice stops being a workout or something that you check off on your to-do list and starts being a profound tool to build mental resilience. It's your invitation to prove to yourself that you're not the person that shies away from discomfort, but you're the kind of person that can breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side a more resilient, a more happy, a more stress adaptable person. So before you roll up your mat for good, just take one deep breath. Be kind to yourself, let go of the shame, let go of the expectations, and just show up. That is true resilience. And all of the good things, all of the fancy poses are on the other side of feeling this feeling of shame and showing up anyway. So that's all I have for you today. And if you feel like you've already quit your old yoga class and you want to start afresh with a new approach, you can use the link in the description below to set up a call with me. And if I can genuinely help you, I would be so happy to welcome you into the Yoga Mastery program. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment down below, do all the good things. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.